our back of our legs a little bit, since Sherry was asking for that. And we can do that quite nicely with the chair. And with some space around us to be able to stretch out a bit. Okay, so if we're on the back side of the chair, let's just take that chair and let's start to walk ourselves back. Remember, always pushing down, not pulling back on that chair. All right, so let's get into a long spine here. And this is where you can take your feet apart as much as you want. Notice as you do how your sits bones expand. And if you want, you can even take your toes in, heels out a bit, and really feel that girth of your pelvic area expanding when you do that. And this is where I'd like you to just take and swing your hips a little bit left and right. So you can get into the hips, the side body a little bit. We're stretching the side body as we have our hands weighted on that back of the chair. And then I don't know where your head is, but you can have it in alignment, neck in alignment with your spine, biceps by your ears, or go ahead and let your heavy head hang. All right, let it hang, Sparky. Let go of the muscles there in the back of your neck. And just take a little yes with your head, nothing crazy here. Take a little bit of no with your head. Bend into your knees just a little bit, okay? And then maybe take a few little circles in one direction, and then let's take it around the other direction. And then let that heavy head hang, and then go ahead and take your biceps and your ears in alignment so that we're lifting up there. And then let's go ahead and walk back in towards the back of that chair. Okay, so we're standing. Have that stance that feels comfortable for you. Release from the chair, interlace your fingers behind you, and let's open up those shoulders. Chris, we didn't get to hear from you, but usually it's shoulders that you're wanting to work on. So let's push our hands down, squeeze those shoulders together. And only if you'd like, start to take your hips forward and gaze up, maybe just lifting the bridge of your nose up. And then bringing yourself back into straight. Release your hands. Let your head go again. Let it release. Feel those strands that hold your head up all the time, just like letting go and coming down into the shoulder area. Because a lot of times the neck tightness is related to our shoulders. It's also related to our jaw. And so we're going to do some loosening of that as well. And then go ahead, slowly let your head come back up. Take your hands to the chair. Keep one foot in front. Take the other one behind. And let's bend into the front knee. And let's begin to stretch through the back of the leg into your calf there. So only coming back as far as feels comfortable for you. Maintaining front knee and ankle alignment. So we don't want to be too far past that ankle, okay? And then your heel may or may not touch the ground, right? It doesn't have to. We're just opening up that calf and seeing where it's going to go right now for us, okay? Pull the shoulders down away from your ears. Press down into the chair, okay? Remember, straight down, not towards you. Only gaze up if that feels right for you. Continuing to feel that stretch in the back side of your leg and right here in this front hip flexor. You guys feel that? And then go ahead, gaze forward, and let's take and drop our left ear towards our left shoulder, opening up again through that side of the neck now. Taking a couple breaths here, feeling again that connection of all those muscles that hold the head in alignment. Slowly bring your head back up to center, and let's take it over. Oh yeah, to the other side. That's where I'm feeling it a lot. And try to breathe into the sensation that's happening here in a lot of places, in our leg, in our neck, in our front leg, our back leg. Breathe yourself with your head forward and step that back foot forward. And let's just walk it out here. Hands can stay on the chair. You can take your hands to your hips. But that walking out, bending knees. You can take your hips and take them left and right here a little bit. Good. And then let's go ahead and take the opposite leg back. Remember, pressing down, not towards you. Opposite foot comes back as far as your stance is going to want to take it to. And bending into that front knee, feeling in that front hip flexor, okay? Still having the support of the chair, pressing back through the heel into that calf. Taking a few breaths here. And then let's go ahead and let our chin come towards our chest. Melting it down. Shoulders pulling down and away from our ears. And then lifting my chin up. Now I'm going to take the bridge of my nose upward. So here is where you want to still have opening, right? But not all of us are going to want to have as much of an extension into our neck as others, right? So do to the place that is right for you. But I'm going to tell you that keeping a good movement back to neutral, into the neck, come on to the left shoulder side, will assist you in keeping any joints, the neck, the shoulders, the ankles, the wrists, the knees, the hips, all of those major joints. It's going to help keep them nice and healthy. Go ahead and take your ear to the other shoulder and keep them flexible, pliable, supple. Roll those shoulders down, breathe into the sensation. Lots of sensations here. And then coming back into center. And let's go ahead and step that back foot forward. Take your feet out just a little bit. Toes out, heels in, pressing down into the chair. Go ahead and rise up and down a bit and get into making stronger feet by doing this, right? Stronger calf muscles by doing this. And our legs are straight right now, right? We'll come into a little bit of a bend here in a moment. And then taking ourselves down. And then maybe a little bit wider stance. We're going to go into just a little bend, just a little plie. Take your toes at any angle that feels right for you, okay? But generally we want the knee tracking with the foot, okay? And you want to have it to be at a place that you feel like you're stable. You know, you're not so far out that you're falling over. Okay. So just opening and closing here in that hip area. I know Matt the other day had mentioned he would want some work on the hips. And then coming back up, and let's just take our hips left and right. And let's take our feet back into center. Just pull back from the chair just a little bit. And let's take our hips all the way around. Notice how the weight of your feet just changes as you do that. Just keep focusing in this hip area, in this center area, and have some hummingbirds that are, well, I just had a couple of geese that went over, but some hummingbirds are just hanging out in the tree and they're saying, hey, I'm gonna move so I can come to the feeder. I'm not gonna trust you. And then come back and let's walk those feet out a bit. All right, now let's take the chair in the opposite way. And we're going to utilize this to help us open the back side of our legs again, all right? So always being focused on our core and its strength, all right? I'm gonna go ahead and take my hands down to the chair. And maybe if that's a lot on your wrists, you can come to your fists, okay? And then I'm gonna walk back. And I'm coming into a chair supported down dog. This is really good for the backside of your legs too. And again, if you want to take your heels out, your toes in a bit, you're getting some internal rotation of those hips. We all need that. With your hands stretched out long, your arms long. And if you want to, only adding if you want, you can press a little bit isometrically into the chair. Whoa, notice what happens. You really release into all the muscles of your pecs, your chest muscles, your arm muscles, the armpit connection there by pressing down into the chair. And if you want, let the head go. Let it come out of alignment from your spine and let it just hang. Let it be loosey-goosey. Let your breath come to any place that you're feeling any kind of sensation right now. Yes. And then from here, let's go ahead and walk ourselves back up to that chair. Bend into our knees just a little bit. Lift our arms all the way up. And let's take hands into heart center. Samachana Mudra. Yes. And then let's go ahead and have a seat in the chair. You can have blocks available if you have them, strap available if you have that. Got all of that within my reach. And sit towards the edge of your chair a little bit so that you can maybe have your feet planted on the ground. You still need blocks to put underneath you to ground your feet, and then go ahead and find those. And let's just take ourselves in this tick-tock motion, finding, lifting one sits bone at a time. Back and forth. And so with that strap today, or if not, no strap, no worries, you just use your arms and attach anatomically to yourself. We'll also get some more leg stretching in there as well, okay? And then come into not tick-tocking, and let's just take little tiny circles. Real controlled here. Let's take it back in. Just stirring up all of the juices, the internal juices, fluids in our body. Remember, there's so many of these fluids, like the lymphatic fluids, that only move if you move. It's really important that we do that. So let's go ahead and work into those shoulders a little bit, okay? Because again, like I said earlier, if you have neck issues, it's so much related to shoulders, so much related to the way you sleep. To stress. Yeah. Big S word. 2 more. And then let's just do a couple feet going forward. And then I'm going to take one arm up, bend into it, take that hand to my opposite shoulder. The other arm reaches up, straight up, bend. Take and hold on to that elbow point. Find some lengthening here in this tricep. You guys feel that? Also finding some opening in the shoulders from doing this. And then let's take ourselves over in one direction. Here. Just whichever direction, doesn't matter. I'm gonna do both. Bringing myself up with an in-breath, taking myself over. Letting breath help me here. Gravity help me. Bring myself up. Releasing my arms. Yeah. Fingers up. Exhale. Come into cactus. Heart reaches forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Rise on up. And then let's take the opposite hand to the opposite shoulder and hold on to that opposite elbow. And here we are again. Feeling that now. Coming and radiating down into that tricep, into that place where we carry our chicken skin, right? And go ahead and take yourself on over. Breathing here. Breathe yourself up. Breathe yourself over. Find yourself back up. Releasing arms up. Exhale into cactus arms. Ida Mudra. Inhale, lift. One more time. Hold on. Open up your heart. Squeeze shoulders together. And rise up. Inhale. Hold on just a minute. Good. I don't know why the call comes through on that. There you go. I don't know if you lost me, but I'm back. But a call came through and I haven't off my call, so I don't know how that happens. It was my daughter. She'll understand. Go ahead and take your feet apart. I don't know. I tell her my schedule, but we're an hour difference or so. So it's not really, of course, I don't follow her schedule either. Go ahead and lift up and down the balls of your feet, getting into, again, activating into those calves. And then from here, go ahead and let your feet come down, let your knees come in. Feel that internal rotation. Come on out. Take them on in. And I'm just using my hands to kind of open up my legs a little bit more maybe, and then to close them when I press on the outside. External rotation, internal rotation. Both are really helpful, beneficial for us, for our hips, for our movement, and then coming back into balance. I'm going to take my forearm on my side, let the other up nice and long and straight. Yeah, that looks good, guys. And then I'm going to come on over. Now, take this really long, really wide here. And if you like, you can extend that leg out. So if we were standing, this would be our extended side angle pose, right? So you're doing everything except that we just have our bones connected to the chair. Look at the nice line that we've created there. Go ahead and bring that foot in. Bring yourself up. And then I'm going to go ahead and reverse. So my forearm comes down, my arm comes up, take it on over. Find myself here first. If you feel like you want to extend that leg out, then please do so. You can come into the heel of that foot. You can come into the ball of that foot, the flat of that foot. Toes can be towards me or they can be angled out. Find what works for you. That shoulder on the top, maybe pull back just a bit. As I look up and I stretch. Just keep opening up. I know Rose just says, just I want to stretch. So here we are stretching to this extended side angle pose. And then I'm bringing my foot in and my body up and my arm comes down. Take a couple breaths. And then from here, let's get into the shoulders and the neck a little bit more, holding on to our knees, taking one shoulder forward. I'm also getting all the way into my obliques. One shoulder forward, take the gaze back. That feels right. And the other three, sparkly on your neck, go ahead and come back forward and take the other side. is just start to take notice in your day of how you habitually have your neck and try to balance it with some opposite or complementary positions of the neck, okay? All right, and from here, let's go ahead in and out, in, out, 2 more cycles, in, out, in, good. All right, and then from here, we're gonna go ahead into our warrior series. So I'm gonna turn myself over with one leg to the side of my chair. And that other leg can go all the way back behind me, okay? So it's almost like if you want to stand up and then bring yourself down into the chair, you can do that, all right? So that back foot is behind. And I'm working my way into warrior 1. So my hips are more forward than they are to the side if I were in warrior 2. You don't want to extend your leg back like this. You can bend that knee and take it to your block, okay? Or just let it hang there if you don't have a block. So find what works for you and what your body would like to have happen for yourself right now, okay? So again, my gaze is one direction, my shoulders are one direction, my hips are more or less one direction. They're still a little out of alignment because of the way my foot is. That's what warrior 1 brings to us. Take your arms up, inhale, really lengthen. Find yourself connected to the mat, to the floor, to the wooden boards, wherever you are. Find yourself nice and connected. Also onto your chair, right? So how are you connected to that chair right now? And then from here, take your arm down the leg that's behind you and look up and lift it. And take that arm back up. Take the other arm back onto your chair. You'll feel that shoulder pull back, press into the seat of the chair, and then look up. Again, maybe only gazing up. Just taking things that your ankle. And then taking my spine straight, both arms lift up. And then exhale, both hands come back. I'm going to interlace behind me, right at the base of my spine, like we did earlier. And if it feels comfortable for you, I'm going to let my arms lengthen here. Ouch. Maybe let my heart come up. Gaze may follow. Breath stays with me. Bring myself up. And now we're going to come into humble warrior. So if you want, there's a lot of ways to do this. There's my block. You can just take a block, your hands on the block, and start to bring yourself down like this. You could take your hands to the ground and take yourself down. Only lowering your heart, your head lower than your heart if you are someone that can be in your practice. The other way is to keep your hands behind you to maintain those open shoulders and begin to lower slowly down. Okay? Letting your head go here. That's a really big part of this. Unless you're using a block, then that's fine too. But if you're hanging, can you let that head really go? Really humbling ourselves. Letting go of ego. The thing where I go, ego goes. Maybe we can let it go right here. Bring in energy to your navel. Lift yourself up. Take your shoulders forward. Release your hands, arms up. Exhale, hands come into Anjali Mudra here. And then hands onto your thigh. And then if your leg was extended, bring it in. And we're going to go over to the other side. So you go first into the front. so we can have a little time in transition. It's warming up out here. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of windshield wiper with our legs before we go to the other side. So I'm on my heels and I'm just going to let my knees rock left and right. So I'm pivoting on my heels, right? So again, depending on your surface, the other day I was on concrete. So it's like getting one of those files done on your heel when you go get a pedicure, right? Friction. Good. And then just take your feet, your legs, run them out just a bit. And then we're going to go to the other side. So take one leg across the chair and have your block available if you're going to be using that when we do that forward folding into our humble warrior. This leg, remember, can be hanging down here, or you can extend it back, right? If you want to place yourself in what would look like warrior one, standing, and then put the chair back underneath you, or just stand in warrior one. You guys have all kinds of options, including just to watch and not do it at all, right? So my shoulders are forward, my hips are more or less forward. I've got this nice knee to ankle alignment on the front side here. Then I raise my arms up, stretching out the side of my body here into this beautiful sunshine, beautiful sky, trees above me, birds around me, some kind of construction vehicles in my sound waves as well. And then taking the hand that is the same as the leg that's behind it, slide it down there, offer my heart, offer my breath, offer my gaze upward. Bring myself back up with breath. And then take the opposite hand back behind me on the chair. So on that seat of the chair, I push down. It helps to lift up my heart. And I look back a bit here. And I rise up, both hands up. Taking a breath into it. And then taking our hands behind us. If you want, you can just put your hands in the chair to open up those shoulders, and you can interlace in that opposite way behind you. And squeezing here, looking up only if that feels right to you. Lifting the bridge of your nose, or lifting your chin, or lifting your gaze, lifting your heart for sure. And this is where we come into our other form of warrior. Salty. One. So that openness in your heart. Over one side of your body. And then lifting myself up. And going through this in any way you guys want. Remember, you can walk your hands on your leg, take them down to a block, then let your head go, or let your hands come down, or keep your hands behind you if you want to add that shoulder part, okay? If so, you come on down and take it slowly. Let your heavy head go. Let it just do what it wants to do. Good. And then slowly rising up the strength of our core. Shoulders forward, hips forward, arms release, hands come up. And exhale, hands come into Anjali Mudra here. Hands come on to your thigh, and let's readjust ourselves back forward again into little extension, and let's go and take our knees, take our hips left and right a bit here. Good. And let's go ahead. Just walk out, walk out, walk out. So Virabhadrasana 1, that's what you guys just went through. And that's that Warrior 1 series where we exalt with our heart. And we did that several ways, right? We did it here with our hands clasped. We did it with one arm and then both arms. And then we went into that humble warrior as well. So just something to maybe keep in mind and practice on your own time too. So, and I don't know what you guys, I know you're busy, but if you ever want to have like another practice in your life, in your day and your week, you can always go on that YouTube site and choose one of our recorded sessions from any of the things that we do. And maybe that could be just like, if you feel like, oh, I want to do more. Maybe that's one thing you could do is just once a week, turn it into one of those. So now what we're going to do is take our foot, one of our feet to the center and cross that other leg over. Okay. And we can do both. Yeah. And then let's just take some ankle rotations here. That top ankle. If this is not available, you to cross here, then just take your leg down your shin or down your shin. You would be able to move your ankle. And then here we are. And now what you're going to do is take and slide one hand down. See if you can reach your foot. Okay. If you can, take the other hand to the back of your chair somewhere where you're connected and holding on. And we're going to try to lift that foot up. It's just wherever it feels like you can extend it, right? So maybe it's out away, maybe it's just here. You should feel this in your hip on the side because we have our legs crossed. Right? You're going to feel it in the back side of your leg, depending on, again, where your flexibility is today. Only going as far as that place of being safely uncomfortable. We talked about that the other day. And then I'm going to go ahead and rest that leg back down, straighten up my spine. It's straight here. And I'm going to hold on with my fingers in front and interlaced underneath my kneecap. And I'm going to bring myself forward, look up, inhale. And I'm going to exhale, curl, tuck, round to myself. So just another form of cat-cow here. Inhale, look up. Exhale, take it on back, round. Get into that really sloppy kind of posture, but this is what we want. We want to open up between the spine there. Go ahead and bring your heart open. Feel that in your sternum. Again, only to where that feels right for you, your body today. One more set, please. You could be moving with breath, or you could be hanging out because it feels so good to just be in one place or the other. And then we're going to straighten up here. We're going to take our hands down and we're going to cross. And from here, let's go ahead and take those ankle rotations. Finding those. And reversing. Back is straight, sits bones are evenly pressed into the chair in a nice balanced way. And then again, what we're going to do is slide one hand down that leg. So it would be the same arm, same leg. The other one comes behind me. And then I'm just going to begin to see where I can pick that leg up. So I've got a twist going on. I've got an extension in my leg, right? I'm crossing my center line of my body. And I'm at any place that feels right. Or maybe you want to come and bend it and then extend. And else that you can do to work into a few other muscle groups that we're already using. Good. And then go ahead and place that leg back down. Turn yourself forward here. And let's go ahead and raise our arms up. Exhale into cactus. Inhale, exhale. Exhale, take it on down. yourself up. Exhale, interlace in the opposite way. And let's do cat-cow here. Go ahead and come into maybe cat first with an exhale. Your neck over. Inhale with a look up with maybe just the bridge of your nose. Gaze comes up, heart comes forward. Keep going. Following your breath. Or letting breath follow you. Letting breath be your guide. One more set. And releasing my hands, releasing my leg from one over the other, keeping my knees indented, placing my feet outward. So again, we've got some internal rotation here, holding on maybe to the legs of my chair. And I'm going to go ahead and let myself just open and close. Done this in a lot of different ways. Grass at the same time I have class. Matched it too. Part of what happens outside. All right, and then just coming back into a regular seated position here. And let's go ahead and raise our arms up. And we're going to keep them up. We're going to keep stretching here. We're going to lift one leg and we're going to take it out. At the same time, we're going to reach towards that foot, that leg, maybe touching. Take yourself up, bring that down, stretch out, take yourself across, feel that with your release, back up, inhale. Exhale. You guys got it. Inhale. Exhale. Coordinating. Moving with your breath will help you to not move too into something. It helps just to bring you into wherever you're going. Safe away, deep away. Here, one more time, side. Let your arms come slowly. And take them up. Let ourselves fly on up. And now let's go ahead and do a salutation, a sun salutation with front arms. Okay, inhale, lift. Exhale, hands come through onto the shoulder. Take them on down, bow it to yourself. Release. Bring your gaze up. Let's meet. Keep the gaze down with your hands. It's also really good for your neck. Again, never going past the point of where no is right for you. And we should be using our breath here. This is our exhale coming through and down. This is our inhale as we fly up. Keep going 2 more times. This is simple little vinyasa. When you get to heart center, let's reverse, pushing my hands up on an inhale. Exhale, take my arms slowly down. And with your breath, right, we might all be in different places. Inhale here. That calm, right? It's a really good thing you're feeling a little stressed, just do maybe 4 or 5 of these in each direction. Matching your breath with your movement. Keep your blood pressure down. Keep your heart rate down. Come back. Nice homeostasis. Let's do one more. And then coming back into a seated Tadasana pose, just checking in with our feet, our knees, our hips, our shoulders, our head, all of everything in really good alignment here. And now let's use our chair to really open up that side body a little bit more. I'm going to take one hand and one leg of the chair. The other one comes up. I'm going to take myself over on an exhale, bring myself up on an inhale, take myself over on an exhale. Go ahead with your own breath, right? So your own breath will dictate your own rhythm and your own speed. Breath is your music here. Rise up. Take that hand down. Notice the difference in the size of your body. And this is what I'm talking about in looking at our day and our habits. Are we doing something more on one side of our body than the other? I'll always remember when David, go ahead, we'll start the other side because I don't want us to be imbalanced. Hold on, other hand. David Bradley came in one day, he was really sore. Come on over, exhale. Inhale. I said, David, what did you do? What happened? He says, I was shoveling all day yesterday. I said, show me how you shoveled. And it was repetitive motion, shoveling it in with the same arm and hand in the same place over and over. And he could have maybe not been as sore and a little more balanced if he just changed it up. And I know that one side of our body is stronger when it comes to things like shoveling, right? So how do we build the other side? And how do we keep ourselves from having so much strain on bodies having repeatedly done something over and over, 2 more times. So you can see if we just did one side here, you know, yeah, that feels good on that side, but what about the other side? Exhale, hand comes down. Let's do camel pose. Take your hands, fingers down. Your palm is going to come right underneath your waist at the top of your hips. And I'm going to, before I just pull my shoulders back, let's kind of be like rooster flapping his wings, right? Strutting his stuff and getting those shoulders and those wings kind of moving. And then pull them back. Press down with the palm of your hand in that section of your sacral area. Okay? And lift through the crown of your head. And then to open up into camel, we just reach the crown back and the bridge of our nose up and our heart forward. We keep kind of pressing down and inward with our hands on that steady sacral area. Pulling back shoulders, opening up heart. Pressing down with our feet. Slowly, very slowly bringing yourself up. Very slowly releasing your arms down. Let them hang. Let them drain here. That is big. That's a really big opening. It can bring on a lot of emotions too in that opening of the whole front side of the body. We're doing it on the mat, we would be kneeling down, and you're really opening up even more the lower area all the way up. And I've had people crying, coming out of that, crying not because they're in physical pain and not maybe because they're in emotional pain, but something's come up for them. And maybe just a release, right? And some people have come up and been laughing because of what it brought up for them. So let's do that again. Take your hands nice and wide here. Take them to the base of your spine. Before we do that, let's go ahead and see what kind of movement we have in those shoulder blades. Going forward, taking it back. Okay. This may be a little bit faster movement than your breath is. And then pull back, press down into your feet, press down into your seat. Go ahead and raise up the bridge of your nose. Gaze coming up, shoulders and elbows coming closer together. Let's take up. And slowly, very slowly, bring yourself back. Let your arms hang. Feel all of that flow that you got going from doing that. And let's go ahead and take one shoulder back. We'll do a little coordination here. One shoulder back. And let it hang. The other shoulder back. And let it hang. Both shoulders back. And let it hang. Arms up. And let's take and wrap ourselves around ourselves. See if you can take your hands and find your shoulder bones in the back. You may not have fingers and arms long enough for that, but that could be something that you might find yourself clasping onto. Let's raise up our hearts and our heads a little bit, and then exhale, bring ourselves into ourselves. Elbows in. Go ahead and lift up. Take yourself in. 2 more times. Hug, hug, hug. Taking yourself up. Notice what arm is on top. We're going to release. Bring those arms out and reverse that cross. Maybe your hands are just at shoulders on top. Maybe they've come back to the shoulder blades behind you. Okay, but find a nice squeeze here. Let's go and lift. Lift and look. Exhale, curl around. Lifting. Curl. 2 more. Taking yourself up. Release your arms. And do anything that feels right now. In order for us to do that, let's take ourselves into seaweed asana. And then you guys can just really let go. Take those legs open. Find your feet flat on the ground, or you can come up onto the balls of your feet so that you're activating into those calves. Arms come up, inhale. Exhale, a nice release into here or here. And then just go ahead and take yourself undulating as you like, depending on how far you come over and bring yourself back. You are using your obliques here. Okay, maybe you're coming up and down. You're using another set of muscles. Just letting go. That's what I let go. Head up and release. Take the opposite arm underneath. Find your expression here. Maybe you want to hang down, be just kind of a loosey piece of seaweed here, just hanging and floating left and right, or taking it in mid-level, taking it in circles, taking it in any creative fashion works for you. Rising up in releasing those arms. Take your hands behind you and pull back, lift up. Let's do another heart opening here. Done a lot of those today too. And bring yourself forward. Take your hands onto your thighs. Take and slide your hands down. Pull your sits bones back, maybe a little bit into the chair, and let yourself come into a forward fold. Only if you want to allow your head lower than your heart. This is another place where we just let that bowling ball go. Don't go down the alley. You have to be the pins. Right? You just want to let it go. And then hold into your navel point as you slide yourself up slowly, please. Don't anybody getting dizzy here. Take a couple breaths. Again. Find yourself at the back of your chair. Maybe you want blocks underneath you so that your feet aren't just like kind of dangling, or you take them up here, right, where my heels are resting on the leg of my chair, or you can cross the leg in, or you can cross both legs in. That's just offerings, you guys, right? So whatever it is, wherever you want to find our last couple minutes together, find it there. With your eyes a rest. If you want to give your spine a rest, you can tuck yourself into the back side of your chair. Otherwise, you can keep your spine straight, resting on your sleeping area. Take my hands to heart center and core. This is Anjali Mudra. You can take one hand and cover it with the other hand at your heart center. Just taking a few breaths. Let your chin come towards your chest. Release that heavy head one more time. Let the shoulders pull away. And here we come into bowing down. That true teacher that lies within each and every one of us. So today, even though you came to this class and I guided you through the class, your body, your mind took you to where you felt was right for you today. And that's the way it should always be. Go ahead and just lift your chin back up. Smile upon your face. Thank you for being here, going through our emotions with each and every one of us, from standing to sitting, to legs out, to legs in, to